He definitely, Caitlin, still sees more upside. One of the things that I think is really important to remember about Trump and Elon Musk is, among other things, Musk controls X. That is a website that, he has been able to use to promote certain people, to attack certain people.
We've heard a lot about the fact that Democrats have been talking about Elon Musk. And let me give you a news alert. We're not gonna stop talking about him. We're gonna keep talking about him until...
people who Trump likes, people who the MAGA ecosystem like, or, attacking those they don't like, number one. Number two, Musk spent roughly $300 million that we know about in the election in 2024, helping to push Donald Trump.
Somehow decided to turn off the spigot of money that was going through to various organizations and agencies to the extent that it had actually been ordered by law.
Be careful, you're an elected official, warned Pam Bondi after Jasmine Crockett's brutal takedown of Elon Musk and Trump on live TV. But Crockett didn't back down. Instead, she doubled down with facts that left both men scrambling. The room temperature dropped about 20 degrees when Crockett started listing Trump's failed businesses one by one. Trump Vodka, dead. Trump University, fraud. Trump Steaks, nobody wanted them. And don't even get me started on what she revealed about Musk's government contracts. This video breaks down the exact moment these powerful men realized they'd met their match. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. When it comes to billionaires saying dumb stuff, Elon Musk just won the gold medal in the ridiculous Olympics. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett didn't just call him out, she took his entire carefully crafted genius persona.
He has already said he is privately to people in Trump's world that he is going to spend $100 million through entities directly controlled by Trump's advisors or his allies. That's a shift for him. So Elon Musk is never going to be out of Donald Trump's circle.
That they should have access to it to the extent that people are dying. There are people that have died as a result of this antic, and there are now farmers that are screaming that they may lose their family farms.
Is Donald Trump aware that there is, there are downsides to Elon Musk? Yes. Is he aware that members of his cabinet and members of his staff don't like Elon Musk? Yes. I don't think you will ever see Elon Musk.
Because we have over $500 million worth of food that is sitting and not going anywhere because of the attempt to shut down U.S. aid. So let me tell you, that is the big difference between the two of them.
And tossed it into a SpaceX rocket headed straight for the sun. Let's talk about what got Crockett fired up in the first place. Apparently, Musk scrolled past some random conspiracy meme and decided it was cold hard fact. With all the confidence of a guy who thinks he can colonize Mars by next Tuesday, Musk accused Biden and the Democrats of using taxpayer money to send, wait for it, condoms to Gaza. Yes, you heard that right, condoms to Gaza during a humanitarian crisis. Crockett wasn't having any of it. Elon, with the confidence of a guy who just skimmed a conspiracy meme and decided it was gospel, went on to accuse President Biden and the Democrats of using your tax dollars to send, wait for it, condoms to Gaza, she stated in a blistering takedown. The absurdity of this claim becomes even more glaring when you consider the actual horrific conditions people in Gaza are facing. They need food, medicine, and shelter. But according to Musk's galaxy brain, the Biden administration's priority is birth control. But the condom conspiracy was just the appetizer in Crockett's full-course meal of Musk criticism. She moved on to something even more concerning. Why does this unelected billionaire have his fingers in so many government pies? Crockett raised serious questions about why Musk, a private citizen with no government position or vetting, should have access to systems controlling approximately $6 trillion of government funds. Think about that for a second. The guy who named his kid after a math equation and smoked weed on Joe Rogan's podcast now has unprecedented access to your tax dollars. Crockett pointed out that previously, people handling these systems could only distribute money according to specific laws. But now, it's Elon's wild ride, and nobody seems to be checking the safety harnesses. The irony gets even thicker when you look at Musk's own government handouts. While he's busy accusing Democrats of wasteful spending, SpaceX just got approved for a juicy new contract worth about $300 million. Nothing says I hate government waste like cashing massive government checks, right? Crockett didn't stop at exposing Musk's financial hypocrisy. She also highlighted the stark contrast between his man of the people persona and his actual treatment of workers. According to Crockett, Musk is treating his workers like NPCs in a dystopian video game, a reference to his alleged union-busting activities. So much for being the champion of the working class when you're actively fighting against their right to organize. Meanwhile, as Musk tweets about freedom and saving humanity, real people are organizing against him. The Tesla takedown movement isn't just some fringe group. They're planning 500 demonstrations at Tesla locations nationwide on March 29th. Their goal? Convince Tesla owners to sell their cars and pressure stockholders to dump their shares. This grassroots response to Musk's involvement with Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, which has already led to agency shutdowns and job losses, shows that people are seeing through the billionaire's contradictions. What makes this whole situation particularly wild is that Musk could fact-check himself if he wanted to. This is a guy who literally runs a social media platform and has access to endless information resources. But instead of doing basic research, he's out here spreading nonsense about condom airdrops like it's breaking news. When Crockett called him out, she wasn't just correcting misinformation. She was exposing a dangerous pattern of a powerful man spreading conspiracy theories from his massive platform. The greatest irony in all this? Musk's supposed efficiency initiatives seem mainly efficient at getting him more government contracts while cutting services for everyone else. Crockett's questioning puts this uncomfortable truth front and center. Why should Americans trust a billionaire with questionable judgment to decide how government money gets spent, especially when he stands to benefit from those decisions? As protests mount and more legislators like Crockett speak out, Musk's carefully constructed public image is crumbling faster than a Tesla Cybertruck window during a demonstration. The self-proclaimed free speech absolutist doesn't seem so keen on the speech that points out his contradictions, financial entanglements, and bizarre conspiracy theories. While Musk's empire crumbles under scrutiny, Crockett wasn't done swinging her truth hammer. She turned her attention to America's very stable genius himself, Donald Trump, the man whose business record looks less like the art of the deal and more like the art of epic failure. I mean, how does someone who couldn't even make money from a casino convince people he's qualified to run a national economy? Crockett systematically tore down Trump's carefully constructed image as a brilliant businessman by simply listing his spectacular flops one after another. It was like watching someone deflate a balloon animal, except the balloon was orange and kept insisting it was the greatest balloon of all time. The Congresswoman contrasted Trump's endless self-promotion as a master dealmaker with his actual track record, which turns out to be a graveyard of dead businesses that would make any investor run screaming. Let's start with Trump University, which Crockett highlighted as perhaps the most shameful of all his ventures. This wasn't just a failed business. It was a fraud operation that left thousands of hopeful students with empty bank accounts and worthless certificates. These people weren't investing in some luxury product. They were often middle-class Americans spending their life savings hoping to learn real estate secrets from a supposed expert. Crockett reminded everyone that Trump ended up paying $25 million to settle fraud lawsuits brought by former students and the New York Attorney General. Nothing says stable genius quite like having to pay millions because your fake university scammed people. But wait, there's more! Crockett moved on to Trump Vodka, launched with typical Trump fanfare in 2005. The slogan was "Success Distilled," but maybe it should have been "Failure Bottled." Despite all the big talk and flashy marketing, Americans simply didn't want to drink Trump-branded booze, and the product was discontinued by 2011. As Crockett pointed out, this is particularly embarrassing because selling alcohol to Americans should be like selling sand in a desert, nearly impossible to mess up. The hits kept coming when Crockett brought up Trump steaks. Yes, the self-proclaimed business wizard thought his name would make people want to buy overpriced meat through the Sharper Image catalog, a store known for selling massage chairs and electronic gadgets, not ribeyes. The venture flopped spectacularly, joining the long list of failed Trump merchandise that includes everything from an airline to a board game. Each failed product Crockett mentioned revealed the same pattern: big promises, poor execution, and eventually bankruptcy lawyers on speed dial. Speaking of bankruptcies, Crockett didn't let Trump escape his most humiliating business failures: the multiple casino bankruptcies that included the Trump Taj Mahal, Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino, and Trump Hotels and Casino Resorts. As Crockett emphasized, bankrupting a casino is like losing money while owning a money printing machine. The house always wins, except when Trump is running the house. These weren't just embarrassing business hiccups. They had real consequences for thousands of workers who lost jobs and contractors who never got paid for their work. Crockett juxtaposed clips of of Trump bragging about his supposed business genius with the cold, hard facts of his failures. There he was, calling himself the greatest, a very stable genius, and attempting to flex his business acumen, while Crockett methodically laid out one disaster after another. The contrast was so stark, it was almost comical, like watching someone brag about their driving skills while sitting in a car that's upside down in a ditch. By the time Crockett finished her list of Trump's business failures, even his most devoted supporters had to be squirming. She effectively demonstrated that the man who sold himself to America as a brilliant businessman has actually been playing a businessman on TV while his real enterprises crashed and burned. The complete list of failures she presented publicly was devastating precisely because it wasn't based on opinion or political spin. It was simply a factual accounting of Trump's actual business record. Truth has a funny way of triggering certain people, and when Crockett's facts hit Trump's fantasy world, his reaction revealed exactly why giving nuclear codes to someone with the emotional control of a toddler might be concerning. Instead of responding with evidence or reasoned arguments, Trump went into full meltdown mode. When confronted with the long list of his business failures, he didn't calmly present his successes or explain the context behind those shuttered ventures. Nope, he did what he always does. He threw a tantrum. The most telling part of Trump's response wasn't what he said, but what he didn't say. Not once did he actually refute any of Crockett's specific claims. He couldn't deny the embarrassing reality of his vodka flop or explain away the multiple casino bankruptcies. When faced with cold, hard facts about his business record, Trump found himself in unfamiliar territory. He couldn't just make up alternative facts and expect everyone to nod along. What makes this reaction so problematic isn't just that he got his feelings hurt, it's that his immediate instinct when faced with criticism was to lash out and deflect rather than engage with the substance. This is the same guy who wants to be trusted with military decisions and international diplomacy. Imagine him sitting across from world leaders who don't shower him with compliments. Would he start a trade war because someone pointed out a flaw in his reasoning? Would he threaten military action because a foreign leader made him look bad? Instead of addressing any of Crockett's points about his failed businesses, Trump tried changing the subject entirely. He suddenly wanted to talk about tariffs, as if slapping taxes on imported goods somehow erases the fact that he bankrupted casinos. It's like being accused of crashing your car and responding, "But I make great pancakes." Sure, buddy, but that has nothing to do with your terrible driving record. The deflection strategy is Trump 101. When the facts aren't on your side, change the conversation. When someone points out your failures, attack them personally. When evidence contradicts your claims, just yell louder and hope nobody notices you didn't answer the question. It's the political equivalent of a magician's misdirection. Don't look at my business failures, look over here at these shiny tariffs instead. What's particularly concerning about this pattern is how it would translate to presidential decision-making. A president needs to process information objectively, even when it contradicts their preconceptions. They need to adjust course when strategies aren't working. But Trump has demonstrated time and again that he's incapable of processing criticism constructively. Instead, he doubles down, deflects, or lashes out. Hardly the temperament needed for sound leadership. Political analysts have long noted this pattern with Trump. When confronted with facts that challenge his self-image, he rarely engages with the substance. Instead, he attacks the messenger, questions their motives, or simply changes the subject. It's a strategy that might work well for reality TV, but becomes dangerous when applied to governance and national security. Even more telling is how some Trump supporters reacted to Crockett's takedown. While diehard fans will defend him no matter what, several interviews with moderate supporters showed them expressing discomfort with his inability to address the criticisms directly. One supporter was quoted saying, "I wish he would just explain his side instead of attacking people." Another admitted, "It makes me wonder what else he might be avoiding talking about." As Trump potentially faces debates in the coming election cycle, this inability to handle fact-checking poses a significant liability. Debates aren't rally speeches where you can say whatever you want without challenge. They're structured formats where claims get scrutinized in real time. If Trump melts down every time someone presents evidence contradicting his claims, he risks alienating the very swing voters he needs to win. What makes Crockett's critique so devastating wasn't just the individual business failures she highlighted, it was the pattern they revealed. A pattern of overpromising and under-delivering. A pattern of walking away from disasters while others paid the price. And most importantly, a pattern of refusing to acknowledge mistakes or learn from them. Trump's blustery response to being called out only reinforced that pattern. The takeaway from this exchange isn't just about Trump's bruised ego or Crockett's sharp criticism. criticism. It's about accountability in politics. When elected officials like Crockett hold powerful figures to account with fact-based criticism, the public wins, regardless of how those powerful figures react. Her willingness to speak truth to power and Trump's inability to respond substantively reveals the stark contrast between those who deal in facts and those who trade in fantasies. What we've seen today is exactly what happens when facts meet fiction. Jasmine Crockett didn't come with flashy tweets or social media rage. She brought evidence and research. The difference is stunning. When politicians prioritize factual accuracy over rhetorical flourishes, even untouchable billionaires and former presidents have to face reality. No amount of money or power can shield you from the truth when it's presented clearly. This approach to accountability shows us what's possible when elected officials do their homework. Maybe next time these powerful men think about spreading nonsense, they'll remember what happened when someone actually checked their receipts.